The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers, February 16, 20th, 2026. This week on The Bold and the Beautiful, the secrets are spilling and the drama is off the charts. Eric's involvement in Katie's new fashion house is finally coming to light, while Ivy's shocking revelation about Dylan throws Will and Electra into emotional chaos. Katie's fashion empire is on shaky ground as Eric shows signs of a serious health issue. After a frightening breathing episode and some persistent urging from Donna, Eric is forced to confront Brooke and Ridge. The big question: how will they react when they learn Eric has been secretly collaborating with what many consider the enemy? Meanwhile, Liam finally comes clean to Hope about Eric's new position at Logan, after being sworn to secrecy by his father, Bill. Their newlywed bliss might hit its first snag as Hope grapples with Liam's secrets. Can she forgive him for withholding such critical information, or will this cause a ripple in their marriage? And the fallout from last week continues. Electra storms out on Will after he refuses to cut ties with Dylan. This week, the couple is navigating the emotional wreckage left by Ivy's meddling, while Dylan's devotion to Will, calling him her prince, is only growing stronger. Monday, February 16th, 2026. Bill pushes Eric to finish his designs, even as the older man struggles. Eric suffers a frightening breathing episode. Donna insists Eric go to the hospital, fearing for his health. Liam finally tells Hope the truth about Eric's involvement. Bill and Katie reveal to Brooke and Ridge that Eric is secretly Katie's designer. Thursday, February 19th, 2026. Eric and Ridge face off in a confrontation with devastating consequences. Eric comes clean to both Brooke and Ridge, leaving the family reeling. It's shaping up to be a week full of revelations, betrayals, and emotional showdowns. If you thought last week was intense, buckle up. Things are about to get even more explosive. Friday, February 13th, 26. Bold and the Beautiful recap. Today on Bold and the Beautiful, things get intense fast. Ivy spills everything she's witnessed to Electra. Electra gives Will a sharp ultimatum, and Carter and Daphne take their new marriage celebration to the next level. The tension kicks off at the beach house, where Will doesn't hold back. He confronts Ivy about running Dylan out of town. Ivy tries to laugh it off, like it's no big deal, but Electra isn't having it. She needs the truth. Will keeps lecturing Ivy, accusing her of traumatizing Dylan. Ivy insists Electra deserves to hear the full story about that night Dylan was alone with Will. Will calls her out. She's been a bully. Dylan never wanted family drama, never wanted to upset Electra. Ivy, of course, paints herself as the guardian angel, saying Dylan was being inappropriate. Will is incredulous. Dylan didn't deserve any of this, and he's determined to put her back on her feet. Then Ivy starts railing about tasteless, tacky tea behavior, private ballet lessons, swimming sessions, and more. Dylan just shakes her head, and Electra is shocked to hear that Dylan was even in a bikini. Ivy goes full scandal, claiming Dylan tried to make moves on Will. Will protests, saying it's all twisted, but Ivy doubles down, insisting she only acted to protect her niece. Electra, to her credit, agrees. This crossed a line. She demands Will make Dylan leave. Will protests, after all, this is his home. But Electra draws her line in the sand. It's either her or Dylan. She storms out, disgusted, with Ivy following. Dylan, meanwhile, feels crushed. She's been lucky to have Will as her anchor, but even in her despair, she reflects on how he's saved her in ways no one else could. Meanwhile, at Forrester, the wedding celebrations continue. Carter and Daphne, now officially husband and wife, bask in the joy of the day. Steffi and Ridge toast them, Ridge teasing Carter as always, while Carter gushes about how Daphne brings out the best in him. Steffi quietly notes she knew these two would hit it off. Later, Steffi shares a quiet moment with her father, Ridge, marveling at how he whipped up Daphne's wedding dress in record time. They congratulate themselves on their matchmaking efforts and discuss dinner plans. Steffi is happy Dylan and Electra are friends. Finally, some peace for everyone. Back in Carter's room, the newlyweds are in their own world. Daphne confesses he makes her feel like a queen. Carter, ever the romantic, repeats his vows and professes his love. The chemistry is undeniable. They kiss, shed their wedding attire, and wrap themselves in sheets. They share an intimate moment, fully savoring the connection that comes with being married. Afterward, Daphne reflects on how their union has made everything feel more complete. She even jokes about their future. She's told Steffi she plans to have a baby in 9 months. Carter responds with a grin. Then I guess we better get to it. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, February 16th to 27. I was thinking about the next couple of weeks on The Bold and the Beautiful, and wow, things are about to get messy. From secret reveals to health scares and love triangles that could practically be a quadrangle, the drama is hitting full throttle. Here's my take on what's coming up. Week of February 16 to 20, secrets and setbacks. First off, Will Spencer seems ready to point fingers. He's blaming Ivy Forrester for causing trouble as he tries to smooth things over with Electra Forrester. But Electra isn't exactly backing down. She reminds Will that he'd probably hate it if she were living with another guy. Meanwhile, Melissa Dillon living on Will's property is becoming a sticking point. Will can't seem to make her leave, even though Electra clearly wants her gone. I suspect Ivy might overhear all of this and won't hesitate to jump in, probably to tell Electra to stand her ground. Over at Spencer Publications, Bill Spencer is pressuring Eric Forrester to speed up the designs Katie Logan Spencer needs for her debut fashion collection. But things take a scary turn when Eric suddenly struggles to breathe, leaving Donna Logan Forrester worried. She thinks a hospital visit is unavoidable, but Eric's stubborn streak might delay that decision. And then there's Liam. I didn't realize he'd been keeping such a big secret from Hope Logan Spencer. When he finally admits that Eric is Katie's lead designer, you can bet Hope is going to have a serious meltdown. Meanwhile, Bill and Katie will break the news to Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan Forrester. Eric is designing for Katie's new fashion line. That revelation sets up what could be a massive father-son showdown, and knowing this family, the fallout will be crushing. Week of February 23 to 27. More drama and heartstrings. Eric isn't out of the woods yet. Another medical setback could finally land him in the hospital, though I think he'll pull through. Once he's okay, Eric might share a heartfelt confession about finding purpose again, which could lead Ridge and Brooke to try convincing him to step back from this high-stress role. Katie's going to be questioning whether Eric can handle the pressure, and honestly, I can't blame her. Maybe Deke Sharp will finally get a formal job offer at Logan, which could take some of the weight off Eric's shoulders. On the romantic front, things are getting tangled. Dylan will be getting closer to Will, while Electra may lean on RJ Forrester for support. From what I'm seeing, this love quad, Electra, Will, Dylan, and RJ, is about to stir up a lot of complicated feelings, betrayals, and awkward confrontations. So in short, secrets, hospital scares, father-son clashes, and a potentially explosive love quadrangle. To me, it feels like The Bold and the Beautiful is gearing up for 2 weeks of pure classic soap opera chaos, and I wouldn't want to miss a single moment. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the week of February 16-20 hint at a tense, emotional week in Los Angeles, with Donna Logan Forrester stepping in to worry about Eric Forrester while Melissa Dillon sees her chance to make a move. As the week kicks off, Eric is under pressure trying to finish a brand new collection for Katie Logan Spencer. Bill Spencer isn't exactly patient, and his push for Eric to speed things up is only making matters worse. I think Eric genuinely wants to deliver for Katie, but the combination of deadlines and stress might be more than he can handle. It's one thing to come out of retirement because you still have the energy, but it's another to push yourself like you're decades younger. Eric will hit a point where he struggles to breathe, a moment that's bound to make Donna worry. Watching him gasping, Donna insists he get a proper checkup, but Eric is determined to keep going. To me, this stubbornness is classic Eric. He wants to keep proving himself, even if it's risky. Donna's concern will likely grow as she sees the toll this is taking on him. Meanwhile, across town, Hope Logan Spencer is curious about Logan's new designer. Liam Spencer can't keep the secret forever, and eventually, he admits Eric took the job. Katie and Bill spilling the news to Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan Forrester sets the stage for conflict. I suspect the clash between Ridge and Eric could get intense, so much so that Eric's breathing issues might escalate if the tension continues. In the end, though, Eric will likely get the medical attention he needs and try to explain his choices to those who feel hurt or betrayed. Spoilers suggest he'll make a heartfelt admission to Ridge and Brooke, trying to show why this Logan opportunity was so meaningful to him. Elsewhere, Will Spencer is trying to mend things with Electra Forrester, but she's not having it. That opens the door for Dylan, who now has a golden opportunity to go after the man she wants. With Electra out of the picture, Dylan can console Will and make her case for a future together. And knowing how soap plots twist, Dylan might tweak her plans along the way to increase her chances. Overall, it looks like a week full of tension, confessions, and shifting alliances. Eric's health scare adds real stakes, while Dylan's opportunity for romance brings a lighter, more scheming energy to the mix. I think viewers are in for a week where hearts and tempers collide, and no one will come out unscathed. On The Bold and the Beautiful, it's a big day at the Forrester estate because Ashley Brewer is expecting her first baby. Honestly, it feels like everything in her life is moving at warp speed. She got married back in December 2025, and now she's preparing for motherhood, while her on-screen counterpart, Ivy Forrester, seems to be struggling just to keep up with the chaos around her. Ashley is clearly living her best life, but Ivy? She's mostly lurking in the shadows, quietly simmering. What's always made Ashley stand out on screen isn't just her survival of the infamous Great Sydney Water saga, it's that unmistakable Australian accent. Among a sea of Los Angeles Valley girl drawls and those repetitive, whispery Spencer tones, Ivy's voice actually makes you lean in, even if what she's saying lately is a little questionable. Lately, she's been hanging around the beach house with an intensity that would make a seasoned private investigator blush. You can't help but wonder if she has anything better to do than peek through windows at Will, Spencer, and Dylan. Ivy has practically turned creeping into a full-time profession while Ashley is busy picking out baby furniture and painting a nursery. According to recent SoapCentral.com recaps, Ivy has officially had it with the younger generation. She's now twice dropped the soon-to-be iconic line, "It's not proper at all," in reference to the growing closeness between Will and Dylan. And you can't help but laugh because this is a show where marrying your father's ex-wife on a random Tuesday is totally fine, and everyone can still swing by Brooks for an organic green juice afterward without blinking. She first said it after catching them in a compromising position on the couch, and then again while warning Electra that Dylan was a bad influence. The irony is delicious. Having a Forrester cousin lecture anyone on propriety is almost too much given the family history of loft-hopping, secret weddings, and scandals that could fill an entire library. In a way, Ashley and Ivy are living parallel lives, one embracing new beginnings and a growing family, the other hovering in the background, trying to police morality in a world that has clearly moved past proper. And to me, that contrast is exactly what keeps the Forrester drama endlessly entertaining. The latest Bold and the Beautiful drama with Electra Forrester and Dylan really has me wondering, who am I supposed to root for here? Honestly, this feels like one of those messy storylines where everyone's making points, but also making huge mistakes, so picking a side isn't easy. Take Electra, for example. She jumped on Ivy Forrester's bandwagon about Dylan's behavior way too fast. Instead of listening to Dylan and Will Spencer, she blew up and gave Will an ultimatum. To me, that's classic Electra insecurity, setting rules she doesn't even seem able to negotiate. And I keep thinking, if she couldn't trust Dylan, why was she friends with her at all? Plus, her willingness to throw Dylan out and have her live in her car again, that's just cruel. But here's the thing, Dylan isn't completely innocent either. While she and Will haven't been sneaking around or having some secret love affair, she definitely crossed some lines. Putting on that private ballet show for Will while babysitting Hayes Finnegan? That was unnecessary. The boundary between friendship and something more got a little blurry, and Electra's concerns, in that sense, aren't totally off base. At the same time, I get Dylan. She's struggling to get her life back together and really needs support. I can see why Will doesn't want to just kick her out, And honestly, the smarter solution might be for Will to tap Dollar Bill Spencer, the guy who recently gave Katie Logan Spencer an entire fashion house, to help Dylan find a place to stay. But Will seems convinced that keeping her on his property is the only option, which just keeps him locked in a standoff with Electra. So where does that leave me? I feel caught in the middle. Electra has her points, but comes off harsh and controlling, while Dylan is clearly vulnerable, but pushes boundaries in ways that complicate everything. Watching this play out, I can't help but wonder how far they'll let this tension spiral. Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure. The drama isn't slowing down anytime soon. Electra, Dylan, and Will are heading into even messier territory, and I'm here for every heated confrontation. On Monday, February 16th, The Bold and the Beautiful delivers some major drama as Bill ramps up the pressure on Eric to finish the designs for Katie's new fashion house, Logan. If you remember, things weren't exactly smooth before Christmas. Ridge decided it was time for Eric to retire, but Eric wasn't ready to step away. He was still in the zone, designing like only he can. Ridge didn't see it that way and went ahead with a retirement party, practically pushing Eric out of Forrester Creations. Eric took it hard. He was so down that the holidays barely felt festive. But then came a turning point. Katie, having received a fashion house from Bill after they remarried, needed a talented designer, and Eric just happened to be available. To me, it felt like a perfect, if bittersweet, opportunity for Eric to get back into the creative world. Katie was thrilled to have him on board. Naturally, the news that Eric was designing for Logan was kept under wraps. While Katie and Brooke bickered over the name of the new fashion house, Eric dove into his work. In the end, Katie chose Logan as the official name for her new company, marking a fresh start and giving Eric a chance to shine once again. I was thinking about the latest The Bold and the Beautiful twist, and wow, Dylan's situation really hit me. She's homeless, living out of her car, and it seems like only Deke noticed. I didn't realize how much the little clues added up. A car parked behind Il Giardino, someone scavenging from the trash, it all pointed to Dylan struggling. When Deke finally approached her, he did it so gently. He didn't judge, he didn't lecture. He just wanted to help. I love that moment where he hires her to work in the back of Il Giardino. But here's the thing, I can't help but wonder if he's inadvertently putting her in danger. On the February 10th episode, we saw Dylan rummaging through a leftover pizza box in the alley behind Il Giardino. Deke caught her, but instead of scolding her, he asked if she had a place to stay. That's when she opened up about living out of her car. I think that scene really showed the humanity in Deke. He builds just enough trust for Dylan to share her name and her story, and he promises to help however he can. In the next episode, Deke admitted he knows what it's like to hit rock bottom. He offered Dylan a meal at the bar and even a job bussing tables, but she preferred to work in the back washing dishes. I was wondering if hiring her was a smart move, though. Technically, he could because he was running the staff while Deacon was away, but putting her in the workplace, especially around someone like Sheila, could backfire. Sheila's dark side is always lurking, and Dylan has a secret that could ignite it. She accidentally ran over Sheila's granddaughter, Luna. If Sheila ever finds out, her compassion might vanish in an instant, and with Deacon and Taylor's close relationship, Sheila's potential downward spiral seems inevitable. Then there's Ivy, always scheming, always ruthless. If she discovers Dylan's past, she could tip off Sheila, which might be her way of getting Dylan out of the picture. Ivy's vendetta knows no bounds, and Dylan's just trying to survive. So to me, this storyline is such a mix of hope and danger. Deke's heart is in the right place, but the consequences could be catastrophic. I'm curious how long Dylan's secret can stay safe, and if this act of kindness might inadvertently put her right in the crosshairs of B&B's ever-growing drama. Next week on The Bold and the Beautiful, Carter Walton and his new bride, Daphne Rose, are still enjoying their honeymoon, and yes, that includes plenty of romantic escapades. I have to say, it feels almost too perfect. Carter barely put a ring on it, and now he's already talking about starting a family. To me, it seems like the Forrester lawyers' happily ever after might be too good to be true. What a twist to watch Carter finally tie the knot. Considering his history with fiancés, I didn't expect Daphne Rose to actually show up at the altar and say, "I do." Honestly, even I was caught off guard. Next week, spoilers reveal that the newlyweds aren't slowing down. Their honeymoon continues, and the couple is eager to take the next step, starting a family. Daphne is set on making Valentine's Day unforgettable in her own very specific way. And Carter is thrilled at the idea of becoming a dad in 9 months. It sounds like a dream, but in B&B terms, dreams have a way of turning into chaos. I can't help but remember what showrunner Bradley Bell teased last year. Daphne isn't exactly a blank slate. He hinted that someone from her past would arrive in Los Angeles and shake things up. So, as much as it seems like Carter has it all, there could be secrets lurking just around the corner. I wonder, what happens if Daphne does get pregnant, only for Carter to realize he might have jumped too quickly? To me, it feels like we're on the edge of another dramatic twist. Could this picture-perfect marriage really be as flawless as it seems? How many times is Ridge Forrester going to send his poor dad to the hospital on The Bold and the Beautiful? The newest promos have Eric Forrester yelling at his son, only to clutch his chest moments later while his frantic family scrambles to call 911. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time this has happened. Eric almost died from the same thing just a few years ago. It makes me wonder, has John McCook's time on Bold and Beautiful finally come to an end? For years, fans and the rumor mill have speculated that the veteran actor was ready to hang up his coat. Back in 2023, when Eric nearly died, Dr. Finn managed to work his miracle, and McCook reassured everyone that retirement wasn't on the horizon. But this time, will the storyline play out differently? McCook has been portraying Eric since the very first episode in 1987, a staggering run of almost 4 decades. With his 82nd birthday just around the corner, I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to step back and enjoy his golden years with his wife and family. If this really is Eric Forrester's final hurrah, it's going to be a gut-wrenching moment for Ridge. I can see Ridge blaming himself for all the stress he's put on his dad, forcing him toward retirement when all Eric really wanted was to keep drawing dresses in peace. And let's not ignore the new drama. Spoilers suggest some of the responsibility for Eric's latest medical scare will fall on his new bosses, Katie and Bill Spencer. Katie, knowing Eric's health history, might be facing some tough questions. Did she push him too hard? Should she have let him take it easy instead of piling on the pressure? So the big question is, will Eric make another miraculous recovery? Or is this finally John McCook's curtain call? For fans of the Forrester family, either way, it's going to be emotional. I've been thinking, with everything Sheila Carter has been through over the years, you'd think the writers of The Bold and the Beautiful would finally give her a break. But if we know anything about this soap, it seems like rest for Sheila is off the table. Right now, Sheila is at a crossroads. She's got 2 options. She can step back and let her husband, Deacon Sharp, figure out where his heart truly lies, especially now that he's tangled up with Taylor Hayes. Or, she can take matters into her own hands and send a very clear message. There's one person in this world you just don't mess with, and that person is Sheila. If Sheila goes that route, you can bet Taylor will be running for the hills. I mean, come on. Kissing Deacon and thinking Sheila won't react? That's just asking for trouble. But here's the thing. I get why some fans are frustrated. This storyline has been dragged out for years, and many are just over it. They want to see Sheila happy, thriving, finally catching a break. But somehow, it never seems to happen. To me, it feels like Sheila Carter never really gets to be anything but the villain in someone else's story. All she really wants is a chance to be a good wife, a good grandmother, and maybe, just maybe, live her life without chaos constantly knocking on her door. And this time, it's Taylor standing in her way. Let's be honest, Deacon and Sheila were a great match. There was absolutely no reason for him to be sneaking kisses with his psychiatrist. Sheila isn't trying to save the world. All she wants is to protect herself, and maybe, incidentally, prevent a little chaos in the lives of others. I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of Sheila's drama. If history is any guide, there's a lot more twists, shocks, and, yes, scheming to come. The Bold and the Beautiful airs weekdays on CBS, so keep watching. because Sheila Carter's story is far from over. I think Carter Walton from The Bold and the Beautiful has finally found someone who isn't entangled with another man and genuinely wants to be with him. Enter Daphne Rose, a woman who seems ready to commit fully. Finally, Carter might be getting the happiness he's been chasing for so long. But, of course, in true soap opera fashion, nothing ever comes easy. Daphne might face challenges when it comes to conceiving. And that's where things could get really interesting. Could Steffi Forrester step in as a surrogate for Daphne and Carter? Fans of the show know that the writers rarely let characters get exactly what they want the moment they want it, especially someone like Carter, who has been through heartbreak after heartbreak. Now that he's finally found the one, there's a big red flag waving. Carter and Daphne are eager to start a family immediately, and in soaps, instant dreams rarely stay smooth. Neither Carter nor Daphne have children, so it's almost inevitable that obstacles will arise as they try to make their dreams a reality. They've just tied the knot, and expecting everything to fall perfectly into place is honestly a little too optimistic. I wouldn't be surprised if fertility struggles enter the picture. Maybe Daphne can't carry a child to term, or some other dramatic hurdle threatens their plans. And that's where Steffi could come in. She might volunteer to be their surrogate, helping Carter and Daphne achieve the family they so desperately want. Steffi has 2 kids of her own, and she has always been deeply connected to both Carter and Daphne. After all, she was the one who brought Daphne into Carter's life in the first place. She loves them, and knowing Steffi, she would probably do anything to ensure their happiness. Let's be real. The writers of The Bold and the Beautiful rarely let Steffi sit on the sidelines. She's always in the thick of the biggest storylines, so why would this be any different? Of course, if Steffi does step in as a surrogate, this could come with its own emotional turmoil. Will she struggle with giving up the baby in the end? Will Daphne finally face the reality that she can't conceive? Soap operas thrive on exactly this kind of tension, and it seems almost guaranteed that Steffi's involvement will bring both joy and heartbreak. So the big questions linger. Would Steffi make this huge sacrifice for the sake of her friend's happiness? And will Carter finally get the child he's longed for? One thing's for sure. If anyone on The Bold and the Beautiful is going to stir the pot, it's Steffi Forrester. Taylor Hayes finally cracked under Ridge Forrester's pressure on The Bold and the Beautiful, agreeing that she wouldn't see Deacon Sharp anymore. Even though the doctor and her patient openly professed their love, Ridge managed to convince Taylor that Sheila Carter would kill her if the truth came out, basically calling an early abort mission. But are Deacon and Taylor really done, or is there still a chance for this almost couple? Steffi Forrester tried everything she could with her lovesick mother, but nothing worked. So she had to escalate the situation. Taylor's own daughter even threatened to cut her off from her grandchildren, yet Taylor still leaned toward Deacon Sharp. It wasn't until Ridge stepped in that Taylor finally caved, telling her family she would stop seeing Sheila's husband. But the big question remains, will Deacon Sharp take no for an answer? Once the Il Giardino owner finds out that Ridge talked Taylor into ending things, is he really just going to pack it up and go home to Sheila Carter? History suggests otherwise. Deacon and Ridge have clashed before, mostly over Brooke Logan, so a quiet exit seems unlikely. Of course, it's a little absurd that Deacon is fighting so hard for Taylor when he technically still has a wife in Sheila. From Taylor's perspective, it probably doesn't feel fair to have to choose between her family and the man she loves. I'm wondering if she's just telling Steffi and Ridge what they want to hear, buying herself some peace while secretly hoping she can keep seeing Deacon without anyone noticing. Her judgment might be clouded by her feelings, but that's Taylor for you, always caught in the messy middle of love, loyalty, and family drama. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the week of February 16th, 26 are here, and things are heating up in ways that might actually shock fans. First off, it looks like Eric Forrester is facing a serious health scare, so serious that 911 ends up being called. To me, this feels like the kind of moment that could change everything in the Forrester world. I was particularly intrigued by Liam Spencer this week. He has a secret that's weighing on him, and I think it's about to blow up in unexpected ways. Eric has been quietly working as Katie Logan Spencer's lead designer, a secret only known to a very small circle. Katie, Bill, Liam, and Donna Logan Forrester. But, predictably, keeping it under wraps proves impossible for Liam. He admits he struggles with keeping the secret from Hope, and, of course, he eventually confides in her anyway. Interestingly, Hope doesn't immediately run to Brooke Logan Forrester, which surprised me a little. Instead, it's Bill and Katie who end up spilling the truth to Brooke and Ridge Forrester later in the week. I think this shift adds more layers to the family drama, and it makes me wonder how long everyone can keep pretending like nothing happened. Eric's storyline is intense this week. Early on, Bill pressures him to speed things up, but by Tuesday, Eric starts struggling to breathe. Donna urges him to see a doctor, but he refuses, and then comes a dramatic confrontation between Ridge and Eric, where Ridge and Eric clash while Brooke and Donna watch. Ridge eventually apologizes, but it feels too little, too late. Eric's breathing suddenly worsens so badly that Ridge has no choice but to call 911. I didn't realize it would get this extreme so quickly, but it definitely has my attention. Meanwhile, on the younger front, Will Spencer is trying to win back Electra Forrester. Instead of confronting Dylan about the beach house, he places the blame on Ivy Forrester, which feels a bit messy. Later, Dylan comforts a heartbroken Will with a warm embrace. Will actually accepts it this time, though he doesn't look entirely thrilled. To me, Dylan's behavior is starting to feel obsessive. He even keeps calling Will my prince, which seems like a huge red flag, kind of like what happened with Luna Nozawa. So, this week, it's a mix of life-or-death tension, family secrets spilling out, and some very complicated romantic entanglements. I think the real question is, can anyone handle all these secrets, feelings, and drama without everything exploding? The latest Bold and the Beautiful spoilers are hinting that the fallout from Dylan and Will Spencer's scandalous ballet escapade is about to shake up the younger crowd in Los Angeles. It all starts when Dylan gets caught dumpster diving. Yeah, you heard that right. And suddenly, Ivy Forrester finds herself in a tough spot. She now has to spill the beans about what she saw Will Spencer Jr. up to while his girlfriend was out of town. And trust me, the truth is explosive. Electra Forrester has absolutely no clue that her aunt caught Dylan twirling around in a tutu for her boyfriend. Once this comes out, things are going to blow up big time. Electra had already warned Will and his roommate to stay clear of each other before she left town, and the fact that they ignored her just adds fuel to the fire. Of course, you can expect Will to insist that Ivy is overreacting, that technically nothing happened. And sure, if you're counting strict definitions, maybe that's true. But we all know Will isn't exactly blameless here. This isn't even Will's first brush with infidelity. Remember the Luna Nozawa incident? Electra forgave him because he was too drunk to realize who he was with. But she hasn't forgotten. It wouldn't be surprising if she tells Will they need to take a break after this latest drama. Meanwhile, RJ Forrester isn't missing a beat. Once he senses trouble in paradise, he'll be hovering around Electra at the office, making his interest crystal clear. He's been waiting for a chance like this, and it looks like Electra might be showing a side we haven't seen before. A mix of Forrester fire and some serious cattiness. The big question now is, will Electra use RJ as a way to get back at Will? Or is there still a chance for reconciliation with her boyfriend? One thing's for sure. Things in Los Angeles are about to get messy, dramatic, and absolutely unmissable. On The Bold and the Beautiful, the fashion is always high, but the stakes for love are even higher. As Valentine's Day approaches, the power dynamics at Forrester Creations and Spencer Publications are shifting, and not all hearts are beating in sync. Some couples are glowing with renewed commitment, while others are tiptoeing around the ghosts of the past. Carter finally seems to have turned his luck around. He once called himself a loser in love, especially after his engagement to Hope ended in heartbreak when she realized her heart still belonged to someone else. But love works in mysterious ways. Enter Daphne Rose, independent, thoughtful, and surprisingly ready to embrace a family life. She fell for Carter after truly getting to know him, and now their wedding is underway. Between the Parisian perfumer's charm and the Forrester legal eagle's loyalty, they've set what might be the golden standard for romance in Los Angeles. Even Sheila's looming schemes can't shake their bond. Their devotion to each other and to their family keeps them steady. What's striking is how united they remain, no matter the chaos around them. Meanwhile, Finn has shown he's fully committed to his wife and their family. And while he admits it's sometimes hard to navigate the drama, he isn't letting anyone interfere with his marriage. Then there's Bill and Katie. Third time really is the charm. After Liam and Hope remarried, Bill realized he wanted Katie back, and they didn't waste time. An impromptu wedding late last year not only reignited their romance, but also gave birth to Logan, their new venture. Professionally and personally, these two are thriving. Bill even gifted Katie her own fashion house, ruffling Forrester feathers along the way. Defying odds seems to be their specialty. Hope and Liam are officially back on and remarried for the fourth time. Liam's health scare made her confront lingering feelings, and she finally feels at home in his arms again. Before the scare and the scheme that followed, Liam was on a journey of self-discovery, reflecting on the moment he let Hope slip away. While fans cheer for Lope, the upcoming fashion wars could put even this rekindled love to the test. I was thinking about the upcoming chaos at Forrester Creations, and honestly, it looks like Thomas Forrester might be making an emergency flight back to Los Angeles. It's one of those brace-yourself moments for Forrester drama. The countdown is really on for the inevitable clash between Eric Forrester and Ridge Forrester. Eric can't hide his Logan designer connection forever, and I have a feeling that when this secret finally comes out, it's going to trigger a major Forrester blow-up. I didn't realize how concerned Liam Spencer would get until he found out that Katie Logan Spencer hired Eric after his so-called retirement from Forrester Creations. And I can only imagine the meltdown waiting for Ridge and Brooke Logan Forrester when they discover Eric is actually working at Katie's new fashion house. There's already been tension over Katie using the Logan name, but adding Eric into the mix? That's going to take things to an entirely new level. No matter how or when this secret slips out, it's bound to put serious strain on Eric and Ridge's relationship. And then there's Steffi Forrester and RJ Forrester. They'll naturally get pulled into the Forrester mayhem. But here's the question, what about Thomas? It would be a mistake to leave Thomas out of this, especially now that he's designing for Hope for the future again. He's a central player in the design world at Forrester Creations, and I imagine he might feel a sense of betrayal alongside Ridge when Eric's secret is revealed. That said, Thomas does love his granddad. He may even understand why Eric felt cast aside. There was a time when Thomas himself felt lost without a clear sense of purpose, so I wouldn't be surprised if he sympathizes with Eric too. I'm kind of curious to see if Thomas might try to play referee at some point. Could he help Eric and Ridge find some common ground? Honestly, I doubt that that'll be possible anytime soon, but it would make for some compelling drama. Even from Paris, Thomas is staying in the loop. He's agreed to fly back to LA whenever necessary, and judging by the spoilers, this upcoming Forrester hostility might just be reason enough for him to return. It'll be interesting to see how he fits into all the action once Eric's designer gig is out in the open. Ivy Forrester was off the Bold and the Beautiful canvas for over 5 years, and then Ashley Brewer made her big return in 2025. Since coming back, it feels like stalking Miss Dillon and trying to run her out of town has been Ivy's entire storyline. She's had a few brief moments with Liam Spencer, short, sweet, and a little fun, but most of what we're seeing now from Ivy has fans questioning her sanity. At first, watching Ivy sneak around in the bushes, whispering that Dylan was not proper, was hilarious. But saying it out loud now, well, even Electra Forrester might be thinking it's time to get Aunt Ivy checked out. Taylor Hayes' schedule has apparently cleared up. Maybe Ivy should book an emergency session? According to her latest Yelp review from Deacon, Taylor is amazing. This week on Bold and Beautiful, Ivy will have to face the music. Spencer and Electra are finally going to demand answers. Why did she threaten Dylan? What exactly was she thinking? Knowing Ivy, she'll probably double down on the crazy and try to convince her niece that Will and his roommate simply weren't being proper. The general consensus online seems clear. Ivy Forrester has officially cracked. After months of living like a spinster and getting turned down by Liam, She appears to have taken up running hobos out of La La Land as her new pastime. Her only entertainment seems to be obsessing over Electra's personal life. A few therapy sessions might help, but honestly, what Ivy really needs is a man of her own. So, has Ivy truly lost her marbles? Or is she just seeing something in Dylan that no one else has noticed yet? To me, it's hard to tell, but either way, the drama is absolutely worth watching. I think Electra on The Bold and the Beautiful is about to hit a crossroads that could define her entire future with Will. From what I've been watching, he's about to discover that Ivy blackmailed Dylan into leaving town, a revelation that could very well push him straight into Electra's arms. The tension between Electra's loyalty to her aunt and her feelings for Will is about to reach a boiling point, all thanks to the enigmatic Dylan. Ivy isn't just sitting quietly in the background like she wants everyone to think. She's been subtly pulling the strings of Electra's love life for a while. Recently, she witnessed a close moment between Will and Dylan at the beach house and immediately labeled Dylan a threat. She tried to blackmail her into leaving town, but Dylan refused. Now, she's living rough on the streets of Los Angeles, and while Ivy claims she's protecting her niece, I can't help but wonder if she's really just projecting her own distrust of the Spencers onto the next generation. And meanwhile, Will is still reeling from the trauma of the Luna saga. He found an unlikely ally in Dylan, the one person he truly feels he can confide in about his past. What Ivy interpreted as an improper moment between the two was to Will nothing more than a harmless interaction with a friend. And now, B&B spoilers hint that Electra is about to confront Will with a shocking ultimatum. It's her or Dylan. Electra is about to face two conflicting versions of the truth. On one side, her aunt insists Will has a wandering eye. On the other, Will maintains that Dylan is just a friend, and that Ivy has been the real villain all along. Her choice may come down to whether she can see past Ivy's Spencer bias. If she believes her aunt, she could risk losing the only man she's ever loved over a simple misunderstanding. But if she trusts Will, she might end up blindsided by the town's endless web of secrets. And knowing Electra, she could even turn the tables entirely, using Ivy's information not just to confront Will, but to take control at Forrester Creations. If she chooses, she could make sure Will pays the ultimate price, losing both her love and his career in one dramatic move.